All right, and now, fresh from a 2-week stint at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the comedy stylings of Mr. Matt Smith.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the Indians. I'm happy to be here. Before I begin my formal remarks, I need to make a public service announcement on behalf of the Skit Committee. And this is important for you people to understand this. This program tonight is intended to entertain and amuse, but to do so in a good-humored way. It's not intended to embarrass or offend anyone. It's really not. Okay. I know. Now, that being said, if anything that I'm about to say should embarrass or offend you, there's one very important thing that you need to keep in mind, and that is this. If you are embarrassed or offended, please remember, my name is Joe Dunn. And if you are embarrassed or offended, I want you to do me a favor. Please promise me this. If you're embarrassed or offended, come to Jay Jansen's office on Monday, find me, and kick my ass. Honestly, it's the only way I'm going to learn. So please do that for me. And I know what you're thinking. I look different up here on stage than I do in real life. I get that. It's confusing. It might be the hat, but I'll help you out. The key is get to Jay's office, find the first short, bald guy that you see, and kick his ass. And frankly, between me and Ralph Davis, you've got a 50-50 chance of being right. And you're doing the world a favor either way, so have at it. I actually came here tonight with a serious purpose in mind. I wanted to kind of cut against the grain because I've noticed historically the trend of this program is to single out the obvious targets and, let's face it, hold them up for mockery. And it bothers me. It does. And I thought this year I'd like to take a stand. I'd like to stand up here and from my heart, from my soul, offer a few words in defense of those obvious targets. And if by doing that I can kind of make things right, I'll feel like I've accomplished something. Okay, and so with no further ado, I'd like to begin by saying a few words in defense of Judge Lyons, okay? Now, if you were here last year, let's face it, Judge Lyons came in for a little bit of grief. I saw that, and I was a little bit upset by it. And here's what occurred to me. People seem to forget this when it comes to Judge Lyons. They forget what it says right in the Bible. Right in the Bible, it says, "Let he who has not shown up late for work 27 days in a row cast the first stone." Okay? It's a little Bible humor. But here's what I get. I've thought a lot about this, and what occurs to me is that Judge Lyons is a very humble person. That's not the punchline. You know, a byproduct of that intense humility, that Mother Teresa-like humility, is that a lot of the good things he does never see the light of day, okay? And I don't want to embarrass the poor guy, but I think if some of you understood some of the things that he does, you'd have a deeper appreciation. So let me give you just one example, okay? Just this year, Law Day, we all know Law Day, Judge Lyons actually reached out to Linda, and he said, you know, this profession's been very good to me. I want to give back. Find a group of young people that I can speak to. And Linda did. She found a group of third graders, a classroom of third graders. And Judge Lyons went and he spoke to them, gave a very nice presentation, really made an impact on those kids' lives. It was very nice. In fact, at the end, he went around the room, and one by one, he said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And one by one, the little kids raised their hands. They said, "I want to be a cowboy. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a Barbie doll." It was very sweet. Now, what the kids didn't know is that as soon as they were done, Judge Lyons ran out and called Justice Kilbride. He said, "The next vacancy for an astronaut, a cowboy, or a Barbie doll, I damn well better be at the top of that list." It is a good time to be a circuit judge in Peoria County. A lot of exciting things going on. They got Judge Vespa coming back. There's a associate judge vacancy. Everybody knows about that. The application deadline just expired this week, so all the names are in. Sometime soon, the circuit judges will gather in secrecy, and together they will vote and they will select their newest colleague. It's a process that I think they refer to as America's Got Talent, so why do we have to pick from this shitty list? But I think what it all comes down to is change and change aversion, okay? I think that's the problem, is that lawyers like constancy, they like predictability, they don't like change. And I get that, and I'm as guilty of it as the next person. And I'd like to give you an example, okay? I've lived in this town my entire life, and there are things, well, Morton and Peoria. And, you know, John, I don't come to small claims and tell you how to get default judgments against pro se. So, I suppose. I digress. No, but there are things in life that we take comfort in knowing will never change. Here's an example. Lived here my whole life. I take comfort in knowing I can't watch the local news for 5 goddamn minutes without seeing a Jay Jansen commercial. That never changes. I take comfort in that. And more than that, I take comfort in knowing that however crazy life gets through it all, that portrait of Joan Jansen is hovering behind him, watching over all of us. And maybe I take too much comfort in that because, honestly, when I see that commercial, I'm pretty sure I can hear Joan talking to me. I can. Usually she's saying, I know why the internet server keeps crashing, Patrick O'Shaughnessy. I don't know what it means. But if you think about it, you know, the portrait of Joan Jansen, it's kind of like the inverse picture of Dorian Gray, only in this version, the picture stays the same while everything else around it grows old and dies. If you've paid attention, the dog in that commercial, I think, has died like 3 times. Jay's looking a little bit more than a day late and a dollar short, if you know what I mean. And through it all, there's Joan. She's beautiful in her evening gown and pearls. Now, I can see Jay and Dennis over there. They're confused. They're going, what's a Dorian Gray? I don't get it. I don't get the joke. Well, it's a book about a picture of a guy named Dorian Gray, okay? If you need to know more, imagine a picture of Dorian Lassane, only like half as frightening. You get the idea. And I can hear Jay over there. He's going, oh, you're such a dick to work for. And Dennis is saying, yeah, he was. Paul Estes is so much cooler. But look, you know, somewhere out there, Jay is, you know, having this disturbance in the force, and he's saying, that goddamn Joe Dunn, somebody remind me to fire him on Monday. And Jay, if you can hear this, you should, honestly, because this insubordination should not stand. You should take care of that immediately, honestly. But I mean no disrespect. You know, if we're honest with ourselves, let's face it, if it wasn't for Jay, half the people in this room would be working for Todd Strong. That's the truth. That's my version of the ghost of Christmas. Holy shit, what happened that went wrong in my life, okay? You know, we all kind of coexist in this fishbowl, this, you know, codependent circle of life. And in that world, let's face it, Jay, he's Mufasa. He's up there on Pride Rock. He's shitting out cases that the rest of us feed on, and I appreciate that. And I want to be totally accurate with my analogies. By that analogy, I think we have to acknowledge that that would make Goldfine and Bowles Scar. Somewhere out there, Bill Brown and Leroy Compton are snarling in their beer. They're going, I should be king. Why does no one pay attention to my ads? You know, Bill and Leroy, if you can hear this, I'm no media expert. I'm just thinking out loud here, but just something to think about. Maybe you guys want to focus more on radio advertising. You know what I mean? I mean, your commercials come on, and I can't tell who's supposed to be the before and who's the after. And my wife's yelling at me. She's going, you're not supposed to watch The Walking Dead when the kids are around. I'd be diplomatic and say I'm kidding, but I don't think they're here, so really. I said I was going to digress, and I did. I want to get back to my central thesis, which is standing up for Judge Judge, I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm not. I did hear, though, just this week that Judge Dubicki is actually thinking about changing his name. It's true. From now on, he'd like to be known as Judge Do Kevin's Job for him. I asked him, it's okay. I asked him. He said it's an old Polish family name, so it's just it's a weird coincidence. But he's not the only one. He's not. Right here down front, we've got Judge Gil filling in for Kevin again. If you've been up north lately, you may have appeared in front of Judge Shore, wish he'd show up on time. You know, I guess what really bothered me the most about last year, though, is that the humor, it played into this myth that somehow Judge Lyons isn't like always, you know, there, and that bothered me. It did. And that's the gripe, right? Gary Nelson, that's what you've been bitching about for the last 2 years? Right? All you Heil guys, isn't that? I don't get it. I honestly don't, because every time I go to court, Judge Lyons is there. Every time. Now, he's not like in his courtroom, you know, working and stuff, but he's there. Usually I find him back in his office, and he's got his resume in his hand, and he's hunched over the fax machine, like Princess Leia in the opening scene of Star Wars. And he's muttering to himself. He's saying, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." I get the sense, and I might be alone in this, but I get the sense that every time he goes into his office and shuts the door, the giant hologram of Justice Kilbride appears. Does anybody else get that impression? You can kind of imagine him dropping to one knee. "How may I serve you, my dark lord?" And there's Justice Kilbride, all pale and creepy in his robe, saying, "Give in to your temptation, Kevin. Hit the snooze bar on your alarm clock again tomorrow." "Yes, my lord." And I don't mean to pick on poor Judge Lyons. I imagine if you went around the courthouse, you'd find plenty of holograms in the judges' offices. You know, I don't know why. I get the impression if you went to Judge Brandt's office and the hologram came up, it'd be like Three Stooges reruns or something. For the last 2 years, I imagine in Judge Borden's courtroom or in his office, the hologram was like a test pattern, you know? And honestly, you know, to conclude, I have this suspicion that when I get back to my office, there might be a hologram waiting for me too. It might be a hologram of Judge Lyons himself. He'll look at me all pale and creepy in his robe, and he'll say, "Matt, you know, every motion you ever thought about filing for the rest of your life, they're denied." And being caught red-handed like that, I'll do the only thing that a man of integrity can do. I'll look him in the eye and I'll say, "Dude, you got the wrong guy. Joe Dunn's office is like down the street." Thank you.